I was recently name-checked in Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds' recent filing against Justin Baldoni in Wayfarer Studios. I did it. I made it. I can now retire. All of the haters out there who doubted me are now asking for forgiveness. And I just want to say thank you to all of you who believed in me, who believed in us, who knew that this day would come. Please take my advice. Narrator. She did not listen. She did not take my advice at all. I said that having read through Blake Lively's complaints, that it was evident to me that she was likely under the influence when she filed her complaint. Yes, you will. So on the show today, for those of you guys that watched, I had said that looking at the SNL situation, it was my professional opinion that what we were watching was something that was concocted entirely by Ryan Reynolds, because I just see his...
In a dramatic escalation of the legal battle between Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni, newly surfaced evidence has cast significant doubt on Lively's allegations. Digital metadata, initially uncovered by commentator Candace Owens, indicates that Lively's team coordinated with media outlets to shape the narrative before officially filing her claims. This revelation has not only undermined Lively's credibility, but also led to a public outburst from the actress, as she faces mounting scrutiny over her actions and the potential manipulation of public perception.
All right, show of hands if you stayed up until midnight waiting for Blake Lively to drop this freaking amendment. Okay, am I the only person with their hands raised? Are you guys just here to plagiarize because you know I went through every line like a complete psycho? That's perfectly fine. I just want you guys to know rather, that if you're here because you think there's some bombshell in here, as her lawyers were alluding to, oh, wait until everybody sees everything, you're gonna be sorely disappointed, because if clickbait was an amendment, this is it. Okay, I cannot believe it. And there's so much more going on here. Now we really see the target of everything, I think, really the linchpin for her lawsuit, the person that she went after. We have to discuss Isabella Ferrer.
The controversy surrounding the romantic drama It Ends With Us began during its troubled production, where on-set and behind-the-scenes tensions quickly escalated into a full-blown legal battle. Blake Lively, once celebrated for her polished public image and acclaimed acting talents, has now found herself entangled in a bitter dispute. She filed complaints alleging that Justin Baldoni engaged in inappropriate behavior on set, thrusting both actors into a high-profile controversy.
This was a sinister PR move. Blake Lively then moved 11 days later to file a lawsuit. So now she has filed a lawsuit, and I don't think she ever wanted to do this. I think she genuinely wanted this to be a PR move, and she wanted to leak it to the New York Times. She thought the public would take her side with no questions asked, and instead the public is saying, no, we have a few questions here. And Justin Baldoni is going all the way to the wall on this. His lawyer is already giving interviews explaining just how nasty her team has played this. The lawyer's name is Brian Friedman. He stopped by the Megyn Kelly show, and here's some of the things that he had to say. First, he says there used to never be a sexual claim. There never was a sexual claim until she went to that civil rights office. Take a listen.
There was actually no allegation of sexual harassment until the lawsuit was filed.
Justin Baldoni is now involving Taylor Swift in his lawsuit against Blake Lively. So Justin Baldoni is suing Blake Lively, Ryan Reynolds, and their publicists for over $400 million for all the It Ends With Us drama. Now he's name dropping Taylor Swift, Blake's bestie, in the mix. Thankfully, Taylor Swift is not being sued, but she's mentioned in his 179-page paper complaint, and he's alleging that Taylor's fame was used to pressure him during production. And it really all stems from this penthouse situation where Blake and Ryan live. Apparently there was a meeting there with all of them, and Taylor Swift was actually present, and Blake ended up rewriting one of the scenes. And even after the meeting was over, Baldoni texted Blake this, saying, I gotta put my glasses on for this one, the font is too small. Also was working on the rooftop scene today. Really love what you did. Makes it so much more fun and interesting.
The allegations, which span from misconduct claims to accusations of a retaliatory smear campaign, have not only disrupted the film's production, but have also set off a media firestorm.
We're going to be talking all things Blake Lively and her legal complaint that she's filed against her It Ends With Us co-star Justin Baldoni. Yes, the It Ends With Us movie drama does in fact not end. What's interesting about this story to me is the Justin Baldoni of it all. He is a self-proclaimed male feminist. He's woke. He speaks out against sexual assault and sexual harassment, even toxic masculinity. masculinity, and now in this legal complaint filed by Blake Lively, he's being accused of sexual harassment.
I challenge you to see if you can use the same qualities that you feel make you a man to go deeper into yourself. And will you be man enough to stand up to other men when you hear locker room talk, when you hear stories of sexual harassment, when you hear your boys talking about grabbing ass or getting her drunk? Will you actually stand up and do something so that one day we don't have to live in a world where a woman has to risk everything and come forward to say the words "me too"?
This is gonna be really awkward if these allegations are true. I will say, just for the record, I'm not a fan of either of these individuals, and something about both of them rubs me the wrong way.
Followed by an attempted PR takedown of her to cover his own ass from people finding out what he did to her. In an article titled, "We Can Bury Anyone," Blake Lively heroically shared her story, and the world was on her side because it looked like she was just trying to take down a predator in Hollywood. So Justin Baldoni and his ace lawyer launched an all-cylinder fire attack to clear his name, and he started by suing the New York Times, saying that article was just published because it was paid for by Reynolds, and it was a multi-layered scheme planned out by Blake and Ryan to take down Justin. And I think it's pretty common knowledge that the mainstream media will lie on behalf of their powerful friends or anyone who pays them off to say certain things.
Baldoni's attorney, Brian Friedman, has firmly denied allegations that his client attempted to damage Lively's reputation. Friedman contends that the accusations are part of a vicious attack orchestrated by Lively's team, involving media manipulation and the presentation of evidence out of context. He emphasizes that Baldoni's crisis management team operated within standard practices, focusing on hypothetical scenario planning rather than any concerted effort to smear Lively. Friedman asserts that the narrative against Baldoni is demonstrably false and promises to provide evidence to support his client's position.
We plan to release every single text messages between the two of them. We want the truth to be out there. We want the documents to be out there. We want people to make their determination based on receipts.
Justin Baldoni is firing back after Blake Lively filed a lawsuit against the actor, accusing him of unprofessional and sexually inappropriate behavior on the set of It Ends With Us. She also accused him of coordinating a smear campaign.
Was there a coordinated smear campaign to bring down Blake Lively?
100% no.
Baldoni is now suing the New York Times after the paper published a story about Lively's allegations.
Do you plan to sue Blake Lively?
Absolutely.
You will?
Yes.
Baldoni claims that the text messages in Lively's lawsuit were taken out of context or excluded. The New York Times said in a statement that they stand by their reporting and plan to vigorously defend against the lawsuit. Lively said previously that she hopes her suit helps pull back the curtain on these sinister retaliatory tactics to harm people who speak up about misconduct.
It turns out that Blake Lively was caught on tape talking about how she manipulates people around her in order to take control of the movies upon which she works. Oops!
I knew that they just wanted me to show up and look cute and stand on a little pink sticker where I'm supposed to go and say what I'm supposed to say, but I also knew that that wasn't fulfilling for me, that I wanted to be a part of the storytelling, that I wanted to be a part of the narrative, whether that be in the writing, in the costume design, in creating the character. And sometimes I would have people who really resented that because they were like, we just hired you to be an actor. Yet when I went in the meetings, I would just seem like I'm just there to be the actor and ready to get the gig. I wouldn't reveal that I actually need to have authorship in order to feel fulfilled.
Oh my God. And then she did exactly that to Justin Baldoni, apparently. If you want to write your own script, you should go write your own script. If you want to sign on to a movie with the understanding that you're going to actually make script changes, then great. But if the idea is that you sign on as an actor and then you turn around and try to take control of the script, this makes you a jerk.
Blake Lively's legal team has subpoenaed phone records from Justin Baldoni and his associates, aiming to find evidence of a smear campaign against her. They requested to subpoena Baldoni's phone, along with devices from several other individuals involved in the case.
Justin Baldoni's phone, meaning, and not only Justin Baldoni, the entire team that they had sued, meaning like 5 or 6 people, and they want not only to look at text messages in regards to the case, but in regards to everything.
And they want to go back 2.5 years.
Yes, with their internet browser history, so they can see whatever they Googled. I mean, if they do that to anyone's phone, you're going to find stuff that are suspicious, don't you think? I mean, you Google many weird things. I think for them to ask to have access to Justin Baldoni's text to his wife, I mean, isn't that outrageous?
It sounds like an overreach, if you ask me.
Yeah, or like Justin Baldoni's lawyer called it, a fishing expedition, which is a word he used on purpose, I think, because that's a word that judges don't really like. And this is, like he also pointed out, this is not a criminal case, and Blake is not the FBI. This is a civil case. So I think asking for this, do you think they're going to get it through from the judge?
Not altogether, but you know, it is you can do it in defamation cases though.
Yeah, but I think limited in defamation cases.
They sought access not just to text messages related to the lawsuit, but also to all personal messages, internet searches, and browser history from the past 2.5 years.
Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds, my besties. Do you think that Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively had anything to do with it?
This is what Justin Baldoni's team is saying, right? They're saying that Ryan Reynolds pressured WME to fire Baldoni.
Yeah.
And of course, that has been denied by WME. But why then did they fire Baldoni? There are more quotes though out there, and he's saying that I am the man that did it. What did he say? I'm a ride or die guy.
Yeah.
So he takes credit for firing him, and then he's making fun of his last name by calling him Bologna or something like that.
Yeah, Baldoni.
Baldoni, and then he corrects himself and says Baldoni.
Whatever his name is.
Yeah. And that's someone they represented for more than 5 years, apparently.
The request includes not only call logs, but also text messages, internet search histories, and browser data. The subpoenas target several individuals associated with Baldoni, seeking evidence to support Lively's claims of a coordinated smear campaign against her.
The tea is flowing in the Justin Baldoni, Blake Lively case involving Taylor Swift and Brian Friedman and all the characters that are involved, and the cross-fighting here in the legal documents. Justin responds to subpoena, say, hey, this is a massive fishing expedition. It goes back and forth, and that's where we land on the actual documents that we're about to share with you. Umbrella Guy, friend of the program, says Blake Lively wants 2.5 years of Justin Baldoni, calls, texts, real-time location. Watch. It's all because she's attempting further character assassination since her Me Too claims didn't end him. Now, as we know, she claims he harassed her, SH, right? And that's really the big story. But she's also going to claim that he was part of a smear campaign. He's going to argue that was in retaliation. We were just planning a retaliation if you were going to come after me.
And not only on Baldoni, Blake Lively has filed subpoenas, not only against Justin Baldoni, but also against billionaire co-founder Steve Serwitz, producer Jamie Heath, publicist Jen Abel, crisis PR expert Melissa Nathan, and digital strategist Jed Wallace, among others at Wayfarer Studios. She has also targeted phone and email providers, demanding extensive records. The request includes call logs, text logs, data logs, and cell site location data dating back to December 1st, 2022.
The former B-lister has filed subpoenas not just against Baldoni, but also the billionaire co-founder of his production company, Steve Serwitz, his producing partner, Jamie Heath, his publicist, Jen Abel, his crisis PR expert, Melissa Nathan, that digital guru, Jed Wallace, and even more people that work at his production company, Wayfarer Studios. Plus, she's filed subpoenas against phone providers, email providers, and it is exhaustive. The shampoo company owner is asking for call logs, text logs, data logs. As I'm sure you know by now, the up-and-coming wardrobe stylist is suing her director, producer, and co-star in It Ends With Us for sexual harassment and retaliation, a smear campaign. However, he has countered back in his $400 million lawsuit against her and the ex-husband of Scarlett Johansson, claiming that they and her publicist Leslie Sloan were the ones to orchestrate a smear campaign against him. And he provided receipts in his amended lawsuit. And he's also suing Taylor Swift's former bestie for extortion.
Owens alleges that these internal documents, redacted to conceal sensitive information, were being used to construct a narrative aimed at tarnishing Baldoni's image. The strategy, as Owens put it, was not just about deflecting criticism from Lively, but was designed to bury Baldoni under a barrage of damaging headlines and insinuations about his conduct on set. This move, if true, would mark a significant escalation in the use of internal HR data as a weapon in public relations battles, a tactic that blurs the lines between private grievances and public smear campaigns.
If clickbait was an amendment, this is it. All right, show of hands if you stayed up until midnight waiting for Blake Lively to drop this freaking amendment. Okay, am I the only person with their hands raised? Are you guys just here to plagiarize because you know I went through every line like a complete psycho? This is actually the language from the introduction. It reads this. In public, Mr. Baldoni gave the appearance of taking responsibility for the fact that he had, quote, unconsciously been hurting and silencing women in his life and implored men to be man enough to, quote, shut the hell up and listen to women. He claimed that he wanted to end toxic masculinity, acknowledging his own toxic behavior by admitting that, quote,
Candace Owens has recently suggested that Ryan Reynolds, husband of Blake Lively, may be the central figure in the ongoing dispute between Lively and her It Ends With Us co-star and director Justin Baldoni. In a series of Instagram stories on January 24, 2025, Owens shared claims from an anonymous source alleging that Reynolds' unexpected visit to the film set led to escalated tensions.
Person who wrote to me said that they worked on the set of It Ends With Us, okay? And that the villain in this entire story is not Blake Lively, it's not Justin Baldoni, but it is Ryan Reynolds. And now I look at him and I just go, how did I not see? This is the backstory. Comes to set, reviews the dailies, the raw footage, whatever that was shot today, reviews the script, and then he goes into his trailer, allegedly. Don't gag order or sue me, Ryan Reynolds. Okay, I don't want to be involved in your drama. I'm just telling my audience what I was told. He goes into Blake Lively's trailer and they have an argument. All of the production assistants overheard the argument, okay? Now, what was at the root of that argument, we don't know, but we can assume it had something to do with what he saw in these dailies, what he read in the script. Who even knows what led him to even visit on this day? And the person says that from that day forward, he started involving himself, that he basically became a chaperone for her on set. He was there basically every day, involved in the projects, wanting to rewrite lines, and suddenly Ryan Reynolds was trying to wrangle this project from Justin Baldoni.
The source contends that Reynolds reviewed daily footage, became upset over aspects of the script, and engaged in a heated exchange with Baldoni. Following this incident, Reynolds allegedly approached Baldoni's talent agency, WME, demanding they sever ties with Baldoni.
That it was Ryan who had called this shot, that it was very obvious now that we know his brand of narcissism. I feel like we all deserve like PhDs in psychology by the end of this. And since we were able to connect the way his teacher said that he believes he can act his way out of anything and make people fall in love with him, I said yesterday on the show, 100% Ryan was the one who put this line in here. Not SNL, not Tina Fey, not Blake Lively, but Ryan. And sure enough, some amazing mommy sleuth sends me a link yesterday, which you guys don't forget, you can always email me tips, info@CandaceOwens.com. And she says, check out this broadcast on an Australian radio show called Fifi, Fev, and Nick for Breakfast, literally a Melbourne, Australia station, where they had a guy who's been with SNL for like 25 years. His name is Cue Card Wally. He literally holds the cue cards for SNL. And he was just opening up with them in a friendly conversation about how exciting hosting that 50th anniversary was. And at the very end of the conversation, Cue Card Wally gets asked about that line. Ryan Reynolds jumping up and making a joke about the Justin Baldoni situation.
On February 14th, Baldoni's attorneys responded to Lively's subpoenas, criticizing them as excessively broad and invasive. They argue that the demand for extensive personal data not only infringes upon Baldoni's privacy, but also affects the privacy of others connected to him. Baldoni's legal team contends that such requests amount to a massive fishing expedition and are more of a media strategy than a legitimate legal necessity.
And atypical these subpoenas truly are. And by the way, the judge will know. I mean, a layman like me, I don't really know what's going on, but a judge will know, hey, this is too much. They are asking for too much, and we'll have to see. This is civil litigation, not a criminal prosecution, and the Lively parties are not the FBI. Yet the subpoenas seek not only the complete call and text history of each of the targets over a period of several years, no matter the sender, recipient, or subject matter, but also over the same period, real-time location information and data logs reflecting, among other things, web browsing history. This would include, of course, materials protected from disclosure by a laundry list of statutes and privileges, among them the attorney-client privilege, the spousal privilege, and the physician-patient privilege. Moreover, the information sought by the subpoenas is wildly disproportionate to the needs of the case and unnecessarily invades the privacy of untold members of third parties, including family, friends, business partners, and quite literally any other person with whom any of the targets have communicated with over a period of years. And the real bottom line is we're going to find out what kind of porn people are searching. That's what we're going to find out. Oh, why are you watching the Barcelona track and field competition on YouTube? Why are you watching pole vaulting? Well, I got a thing for pole vaulters. It's the, whatever. You're going to find out a lot of information here. The Lively part, again, I don't have a thing for pole vaulters. I just use that as an example. I don't want any pole vaulters to come after me. The Lively part, male or female, as we saw this past year in the Olympics, that one guy.
In a counteraction, Justin Baldoni has filed a 179-page lawsuit against Blake Lively, seeking $400 million in damages. The lawsuit alleges that Lively, leveraging her celebrity status, has embarked on a campaign to destroy Baldoni's career and reputation. Baldoni asserts that Lively's actions constitute defamation and civil extortion, accusing her of using her influence to coerce him into meeting her demand.
Now, Baldoni's lawsuit is 179 pages. So, in case you don't have time to read through it all, I want to read you a direct quote from the complaint that essentially summarizes everything that Baldoni is alleging. He says, "Lively wields immense power as one of the world's best-known celebrities. She set out to destroy plaintiffs' livelihoods and businesses if they did not bend to her incessant demands, and when they refused to give way, she did exactly that, accusing them of foul and reprehensible sexual misconduct." Now, I reached out to Baldoni's attorney, who tells me that they have copious amounts of text messages and emails and other evidence that they say proves that Baldoni did nothing wrong. I reached out to a representative for Blake and Ryan. They have not responded yet.
The high-profile case has drawn attention from numerous media figures. Megyn Kelly speculated that Lively's actions could be a calculated move to wrest control of the film project from Baldoni, whom she described as an overly feminized man. These remarks highlight the deeply divided public opinion on the controversy, with commentators presenting conflicting views on the motives and conduct of those involved.
I defend Justin Baldoni in this lawsuit with Blake Lively because I think she's horrible and she's made up this whole thing because she tried to steal his movie. But he is the most overly feminized man I've had to endure in recent history. Everything he says is self-flagellating over the fact that he's a man. But he's, to me, is sort of the embodiment of what happens when you totally emasculate a man. And then she continued, she took that stiletto and stuck it in his heart when he was down there self-flagellating, being so sorry for anything having to do with his testosterone. And so that's what happens to you, right? You run into somebody who seems like a witch who will take advantage of you and hurt you until finally even that kind of a guy rises up. Now, he didn't do it himself exactly. He hired a badass named Brian Friedman. And he has badass women like me defending him. Mm-hmm. But slowly but surely, I think the male class is learning down on the floor, squirming and apologizing for being a man is not the way.
What do you think about this explosive controversy? Do you believe Blake Lively's meltdown is justified, or is Candace Owens' leaked proof changing the narrative? Share your thoughts in the comments.